What is up, you guys? Let's talk Star Wars. Today, I am proud to announce a new series on this channel called Turning the Tide. Each episode will focus on a different battle in the Star Wars universe, and we'll discuss how each faction could have changed the outcome of the battle. For this first episode, I am starting with the first Battle of Geonosis, which started the Clone Wars. We will be discussing how the Separatists could have won the battle and how the Republic could have minimized their casualties, both in clones and Jedi. So for those of you who have not seen episode 2 recently, let's do a quick summary of the battle and then dive into things. The battle began with a large Jedi strike team infiltrating an arena to rescue Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker, and Senator Padme Amidala from their executions at the hand of Count Dooku. The secondary goal was to capture Count Dooku and the Separatist High Command, while also destroying the droid foundries on Geonosis. What happened instead were hundreds of Jedi dying in the arena and all major Separatist leadership escaping off-world. The second phase of the battle, as we're going to be referring to it, was a massive ground assault on the Separatist strongholds in an attempt to destroy as many core ships and droid foundries as possible. These droid core ships were capable of holding over 1 million battle droids each, and each one represented a lost system for the Republic. While the Republic did succeed in taking the foundries and Geonosis itself, many clones were needlessly slaughtered and many core ships still escaped off-world. On top of this, most infrastructure was still intact after the battle, and soon Geonosis would again fall into Separatist hands. So, how can we turn the tide of this battle? For the first phase, the arena was actually a victory for the Separatists, in my opinion. Over 150 Jedi were now dead, and many of those were experienced Jedi Knights who would have been leading clones in the early months of the war, which are now gone. Jedi casualties like this would not be seen again until Order 66 and the rise of the Empire. Additionally, the Republic didn't even take the arena right away. The clones were actually forced to retreat to the main battlefront. Droid casualties were likely in the hundreds, if not thousands, for the arena, but for the Separatists, this doesn't really mean anything. You're fighting over the foundry. The only major loss in the arena was Jango Fett, which actually may have been a positive from a certain point of view. Fett's capture would have helped the Jedi discover the true purpose of the clones, and it forced the Kaminoans to stretch his DNA later in the war, leading to less effective clones. So since this first phase is a resounding victory for the Separatists, let's actually flip this and show how the Jedi could have done a better job in the arena. First and foremost, the Jedi are melee fighters, meaning they are very effective in single combat, but can be easily overwhelmed when facing multiple opponents. We frequently see clones take advantage of this during Order 66 by forcing Jedi into open areas and attacking from multiple angles. We also see this several times in the Clone Wars, where lightsaber wielders were outflanked and forced to retreat or die. So, given this weakness, an arena is possibly the worst location to concentrate the majority of the Jedi strike force. You have no walls, an endless horde of opponents, and they make no attempt to maneuver towards a better position after freeing the main characters. They just stand there in the open fighting as more droids keep pouring in. They should have at least made an attempt to get to the sides of the arena or fight into some of the hallways. And this really is the primary problem. The Jedi aren't trying to do an extraction mission, they are trying to take the entire arena and capture Dooku, Gunray, Poggle, and Jango at once. They simply had no shot with this plan. They are outflanked and outgunned. A much better strategy would be to take 5 to 10 Jedi along with Mace when he reveals himself to Dooku. This allows some to fight Dooku and Jango, while the others can hold off the B2s that come from the hallway and possibly grab at least one of the Separatist leaders. From there, once the captives are free, the Jedi need to get the hell out of there. You don't need 200 Jedi for this mission. 20 to 30 would be fine. Instead, once they're rescued, they should have a ship ready to come in and grab them, while a dozen Jedi starfighters served as an escort. Even if Dooku is not captured here, you have either Gunray, Poggle, or Jango captive or dead, and Kenobi, Skywalker, and Padme are rescued, which means you can now have those Jedi meet up with Master Yoda and have way more Jedi for the second phase of the battle. For the second phase, things get strange. Both sides make terrible tactical mistakes, and while the Republic ultimately does take Geonosis, most of the Separatist fleet and the entire High Command escape. So, for this video, I will first talk about how the Separatists could have potentially held the planet, or at the very least, caused even more havoc for the Republic, and then I will dive into how the Republic could have easily wiped out most of the Separatists and dealt a crippling blow to the entire Confederacy. The biggest mistake the Separatists made was not having their starships and air support ready. Most of the core ships were still docked, and even during the battle we see little air support other than a few Geonosian starfighters. Where are the Vulture droids? Where's the defense fleet? The only defenses they had were ground-based cannons, which were easily dispatched by Jedi early on in the battle. Yes, I know that the Separatists weren't prepared for a full-blown attack, but they knew they were going to war soon and therefore should have been somewhat ready. Especially with so much of their leadership present on this planet, there should have at least been some ships waiting in a nearby system so that they could jump in like we see at Ryloth.
Now is the time to bring in our reinforcements.
Battle Cruiser 17, Battle Cruiser 19, attack position.
And again, this is the droid army we're talking about, which is known for its numbers. There should have been hundreds of starfighters attacking the Republic landing zone and in space fighting their fleet. This poor defense allowed the Republic to immediately gain air and space superiority and start landing their troops on Separatist positions pretty much unopposed. To be fair, you do see some Lucrehulks present at the end of the battle when Dooku retreats, but I don't think that these were there the whole time, since Obi-Wan doesn't see them when he enters the system, nor do Anakin and Padme when they go to rescue him. I think these were launched after the battle began and were simply some of the ones who survived. This is honestly probably the most frustrating part for me. A single Lucrehulk could easily take a couple acclimators to task. If they had swarms of Vulture droids and Geonosian fighters harassing the fleet and the landing craft on the ground, many more of the Republic forces would have been killed. And even if they were eventually outnumbered and destroyed, it would have forced the Republic to postpone landing their ships until the threat was gone, which would have given the ground forces more time to mobilize and prepare for a proper defense. Once the Republic does eventually break through the space battle, I would have thousands of Vulture droids and Geonosian fighters in atmosphere ready to intercept and harass their ground forces. We mainly see Republic gunships devastating the droid hordes. Gunships. Gunships are slow, priority targets which could easily be taken down with a few squadrons of starfighters. I would also send units to take out their AT-TEs and heavy artillery to take the heat off of the escaping ships. For the ground battle itself, the Separatists actually weren't terrible. The droid army's biggest strength was in its numbers, and especially on a Foundry world, casualties mean nothing. The Republic, on the other hand, was still short on clones, and every company that was wiped out meant that their army would be stretched thinner and thinner for the rest of the war. Sending a massive horde against their landing zone is honestly a pretty good strategy. Assuming they fix the air support issue, it may have honestly worked. The Hailfire tanks and the Spider droids did their job great, but again, without air support, they aren't enough to hold back the massive Republic force that was in the landing zone, and they were quickly routed and destroyed. So, those are the main ways the Separatists could have done a better job at Geonosis. I don't think it's likely that they would have been able to hold the planet itself because the Republic force that was attacking was just so massive, but they could have done even more damage to the Republic and taken out tens of thousands more clones than Jedi at the least. Quickly moving to the Republic side of things, this one is actually pretty simple to correct. Don't land ground forces. Geonosis did not have a planetary shield, which means the acclimators could have easily stayed in orbit and bombarded the planet. A bunch of droids on the battlefield don't mean anything when it's raining turbo lasers. Send Jedi strike teams and some clones to rescue the Jedi in the arena and take out smaller shield generators around the planet's facilities, but keep your ships in space to prevent the Separatists from escaping. I do think Dooku and some core ships could still break through the blockade since it was only acclimators and they're not the best ships, but this would have been a crippling blow to the Separatist war machine while also saving thousands of lives in the process. You would also be able to capture at least half of the Separatist High Command, throwing the loose collection of systems into complete disarray. Another huge bonus with this is that with this orbital bombardment, you could easily eliminate most of the Geonosian factories. Is it brutal? Yes, but as we see with the second battle of Geonosis, when the Republic didn't completely destroy these foundries, they were taken over and used against them once again when the second battle came. And there we have it, a breakdown of how both the Separatists and the Republic could have turned the Battle of Geonosis in their favor. If you guys have another battle you want to see me cover next, be sure to leave it in a comment down below and like this video so more people can give feedback. I am a smaller channel, so if you want to be sure you catch the next video in this series, be sure to subscribe with notifications on. Till then, thank you all so much for watching, and may the Force be with you.